So if you can, come into Sukhasana, simple crossed legs. You're also welcome to sit in Virasana, or even to sit in a chair if that's better for you. Those of you in Sukhasana, in a perfect world, you would be able to have the cross at the center of your shin bones, but sometimes knee and hip issues or even ankle issues prevent that. So make an adjustment. You're also welcome to put support under your outer thighs, or wrap a belt around your knees if that helps you to sit more comfortably. And now, regardless of how you're sitting, take your hands to your top thighs, and one leg at a time, roll the inner thighs down and lift the outer thigh and buttock flesh to the side and slightly back. This broadens the base of your seated posture and allows you to settle your sitting bones and maybe even the tailbone a little more firmly into the support beneath you. If you're sitting in a chair, make sure that your knees come straight out in line from the hip joint and that your heels are directly under your knees, forming as much as you can a right angle between the thighs and shin bones. And now everyone, rest your palms on your thighs. Have your hands in a position that allows your arms to relax. Release the weight of your arms into your legs. Those of you who are sitting in Sukhasana, let your legs release a little more towards the floor, especially this inner groin area. Soften that a little more completely downward. And now as you inhale, lift the chest up. Lift the side waist, lift the side ribs, and momentarily lift your upper arms so this upper armpit area extends upward as well. Let your shoulders climb a little higher towards your ears so you can feel length in the entire circumference. That sounds a bit of a conundrum of the trunk. Now relax the shoulders down, maintaining the height of the chest. And now lift your hands up and join your palms at the center of your chest. Take your gaze off your screen so your eyes can soften, the gaze to relax. Release all the facial muscles, and then let your eyes close completely. Looking inward, visualize your spinal column. Center the crown of your head at the top of the spine. Center the shoulders directly over the hips. So the spine is in a straight, upright position, a vertical plumb line. Of course, there's some inward and outward curves in the spinal column. Let them settle. Let the legs settle. And now as you inhale once more, lift the chest up. As you exhale, release the upper arms and outer shoulders slightly back, and let the shoulder blades slide down the back ribs without losing any of the lift in the rib cage and in the spine itself. Avoid creating tension in the neck and throat as you adjust the shoulders and arms. Bring your attention more deeply inward now, and take a moment to observe the flow of the breath. Sense the rhythm of the breath as it moves in and out of the body. Sense the touch of the breath as it moves in and out of the body. Sense the softness of that touch. I'd like to begin class today by chanting Om 3 times. Although we are not in the same physical space, our voices will join. Please exhale fully. Inhale smoothly. As you inhale, lift and broaden the chest. As you exhale, surrender your head down to meet your heart. Release your hands, rest them on your thighs. And now as you inhale, lift your head and then let your eyes open. Those of you who are in Sukhasana, unless you have a reason not to do this, lift your knees up and change the cross of your legs. You may want to readjust the buttock and thigh flesh. Those of you who are in Virasana or sitting in a chair, you can just remain where you are, unless you need to come out of the pose. All right, and now lift your arms up, shoulder height, shoulder width. If you have shoulder issues, you're welcome to separate your hands a little wider, but extend your arms forward. Straighten completely through the elbows and the wrists, right to the middle finger, stretch forward away from you. And then maintain this length and gently draw your upper arm bones back into the shoulder joint. When you do this, your shoulder blades will come a little forward into the back ribs. That in turn broadens the collarbone area. And now as you inhale, lift your arms up, straighten your arms. Now, we've worked a lot lifting the front of the body up recently by pulling up from the front of the hips into the pinky finger side of the hand. I'd like you to do that on your next inhalation. Lift up through the front body. And now stretch your thumbs up a little. You can tip your hands forward. You can see what I'm doing, and lift the back up. Lift and lengthen the back waist. Lift those rear floating ribs right back here above the waist. Lift up there. And then straighten the hands so the middle finger points up, and lift your whole rib cage up. Let your shoulders come towards your ears a little. So really you're lifting the side and back waist, the side and back ribs, and then maintain that sense of lift and pull the shoulders down. Do not drop the rib cage. Do not compress the spine. Lift up and then release your arms. Okay. And now, those of you who are not in Sukhasana, we're coming out of it. So if you're in Virasana or sitting on a chair, we're going to take Dandasana. So lift your knees up and stretch your legs out in front of you. And start with your feet about hip width apart. And you are welcome to sit on support, or you can sit on the floor, or maybe one blanket instead of two, which is what I'm choosing to do. So with the feet about the width of your outer hips, soften your knees a little bit. And one leg at a time, take your fingers, you could lean forward a bit, and bring your fingertips to the center of the calf muscle. And with your fingertips, pull the calf muscles away from each other. And then lift the side calves up and stretch the leg out a little bit. It's not fully straight. And now do the same thing with your thigh muscles, with the hamstring muscles. Get your hands behind the leg and spread the hamstring muscles away from each other and lift the inner and outer thigh up, and then straighten the leg. And then repeat on the other leg, starting with the knee slightly bent, leaning forward, get the calf muscle. With your fingertips, pull them out to the side and then up. Slightly straighten the leg, and this leaves you enough room, especially if you're on a blanket, to get your fingertips behind the thigh at the hamstring muscles. Spread those muscles, and as you straighten the leg, lift both the inner and outer thighs up. Now at this point, your legs are completely straight, and bring your hands, your fingertips, to the floor outside your outer hips and straighten your legs. So I've been doing this a lot recently. I'm kind of not sure why, but I sort of trying to get the backs of my legs open a bit more without hyperextending the knees, which I have a tendency to do. So press the top thighs down. Press if you're sitting near or on the floor, you can press the bottom of the thigh down right above the kneecap, and then press your shin bones down, press the back of the ankle down, press the ridge of the heel down, and just get as much of the back of your legs in contact with the floor. And now using your hands for support, lift the trunk up, press the legs down, lift up the chest, lift the ribs, relax the face and throat. Now spread across the balls of the feet, spread the toes, feel the skin and muscles. Forget how many muscles are in your feet. There's lots, because there's a ton of little bones and they need a lot of smaller muscles to support them. All right, now stretch your arms out at shoulder width, shoulder height, right in line with the top chest. Straighten your arms. Stretch from the breastbone through to the middle finger. Stretch from the center of the shoulder blades through to the middle finger, so you're broadening the front and the back of the chest. Keep the feet and legs active, the legs dropping, pressing down into the floor. From the shoulder joint, roll your inner elbows and palms to face the ceiling. Feel what that does to your upper back. The shoulder blades slide down the back ribs, but don't let the back ribs collapse. Lift them up. Now we'll get a little, as you inhale, lift the arms up and lift your chest up. Lift not just the front and side ribs, but lift the back ribs up. Again, you can just slightly let the shoulders come towards the ears to give you an assist, lifting the ribs up, lengthening all around the circumference of the waist. Press the legs down and pull the shoulders away from the ears. Don't forget to breathe. And then release both the arms and the legs. All right. So the next asana is Marichyasana 3, a seated twist. I want to just show one or two things with this. I'm going to sit sideways. And I do definitely like to sit on a blanket for this, somewhat because it gives me something to grab onto. But we're going to start with the palms on the knee. So you can press the palms lightly down and lift up. Again, paying attention to lifting this mid-back area. And those of you with lower back problems, lifting your rib cage off of your pelvis and lengthening the lower back kind of feels good. Then you're going to, I am turning to my right. I'm not mirroring. This is my right. You will too. Turn your right arm back behind you and use this to maintain this lift. So I'm pressing down, lifting up, and then beginning to turn. So this hand is not only assisting with the twist, it's assisting to keep your back long as you turn. And you can wrap more of your arm around your knee. Those of you who can, you may want to hook the arm across. Today, I just felt better just hugging the knee. And then we'll turn back and face forward. So start in Dandasana again, this time with your feet and legs together. If you want to if you've moved around, you can open up the back of the leg muscles and sit on whatever height is appropriate. Take your right hand to the back of the right knee, bend the knee and pull it in. Straighten your left leg. Bring both palms onto your right knee with the elbows up. This actually helps with the lift of the side body. Now, lightly press down into your knee and lift your back ribs up. You can actually, again, let your shoulders come up a little bit so you get that sense of length. Now be active with the left leg. Relax the shoulders, maintaining the height of the rib cage, the length on the waist. Now leave your left palm where it is. Bring your right arm out beside you, turn it out and bring it back behind you. Bring it close to you so you can, as you press that right hand down, you can lift up a little higher. Press the left leg down, inhale, and now as you exhale, pull on your knee and turn your trunk to the right. You can now, if you'd like, wrap more of your forearm around the top of the shin. Press the left leg and the right foot down. Use your right hand behind you for support. Inhale and lift up. And now as you exhale, turn a little bit more to the right, rolling the upper abdominal area around. If you would like, you can move your right hand behind you closer to the left buttock. You're welcome to hold on to a blanket if you're sitting on one. Once more, inhale, lift up. As you exhale, turn the top chest around to the right. Feel the stretch, the diagonal stretch across the abdominal area. But also I hope, because the back is extended, you can feel some stretch in the muscles at the lower back, right at the back waist, below the back waist. And now on an exhale, release your arms and face forward. And then stretch the right leg out and bend the left knee. Be active with the right leg. Bring both of your palms onto your left knee. Lift the elbows, lift to the chest, lightly press down and lift up. Lift the whole trunk up off the pelvis, off the legs. Keep your right hand in place. Bring your left arm down beside you, turn it out, bring it back behind you, pretty close to the body. So you're not leaning back at all. You're sitting up. Press down into your right leg, into your left foot. Press down into both hands and lift the spine. Inhale, and now on the exhale, pulling on your knee with your right hand, turn the navel and waist to the left. At this point, you may be able to wrap more of your right forearm around your shin. You may also be able to move your left hand closer to the right buttock behind you. Press the right leg and the left foot down. Inhale, lift the spine, lift the ribs up. Roll the shoulders back and down. And as you exhale, turn the upper abdominal area to the left. Inhale. Once more as you exhale, now turn the top chest, maintaining the length of the spine. Feel this diagonal stretch across the abdominal area, but also see if you can feel some stretch in the mid and lower back area. And now as you exhale, release your arms and turn back to face forward. and stretch your left leg out. Okay, time to stand up, please. Clear your mat of any props. Come into Tadasana with your feet hip width apart. Make sure your feet and toes are pointing forward. Bring your hands onto your hips, fingers forward. If you have thumb issues, you could bring your thumbs forward. Otherwise, have the thumbs going back, stretching towards the outer hip and buttock area. Bend your knees slightly. With your hands on the pelvis, as you inhale, lift the pelvis up to straighten the legs. Press the feet down, lift the pelvis up. Now release your hands, stretch them down, and on your next inhale, lift the rib cage up. Now I'm going to turn sideways, maybe stand a little closer to the screen. So I've been noticing recently when I roll my shoulders back and down, the back ribs collapse down. This is why I've decided to focus on lengthening the back, waist, and the lower ribs up this week. So when you lift up, actually bring your palms onto your stomach and just a little bit press in. So there's a release back. The back waist, I'm not going to tell you to round your back waist, but open it up a little bit. And then lift the ribs up. Then release your arms and stretch them down. So the abdominal muscles having some tone here not only supports your lower back, but you might find it gives you an assist in lengthening the back waist and the lower thoracic spine up. Stretch your arms down. Yeah, that's it. So as the navel draws in, can you press your thighs back a little? And Donna and Linda and anyone else who hyperextends the knees, focus for a moment at least, and I'm in this group, on the top of your calf muscles. Bring them into the shin bones and tighten the thigh muscles to lift the kneecaps up. All right, and now you can release that. And for the more classic version of the pose, those of you who can, join your feet and legs together. Bring your hands back onto your hips and lift and spread your toes. So just notice what's going on with your balance. The toes are really important for balance. When they're off the floor, you have to balance through other means. You might want to take your gaze off the screen and stare at something steady in front of you. As the toes lift and spread, the thigh muscles engage, the legs straighten, and now place the toes back down. With your fingertips on the front of the pelvis, lift the front of the pelvis up. Now, remember what it was like a moment ago when you were in Dandasana and you were spreading the muscles on the back of the calves and the back of the thighs? Focus on the back thigh area. See if you can get the sense that your hamstring muscles are spreading apart. And into that space, can you push or pull your thigh bones back? And it does help to shift a little weight into the back ridge of your heels to do this. And those of us who tend to hyperextend the knees, try to avoid pressing the knees back here. Press the thighs back, especially the top thigh area. Now take your hands up to your lower ribs. So your hands are wrapped around the floating ribs. Maybe in the back you can get your thumbs back here, the fingertips in the floating ribs in front. Now this may be a little awkward. It kind of depends on your geometry here. You may want to bend your elbows back slightly. Now as you press your feet down and straighten the legs, draw the navel in a little bit, and with your hands, lift your rib cage up. And you probably will need to get your shoulders up a little higher towards your ears to do this. And now with your fingertips, just the slightest amount, tuck those front floating ribs in and lean your upper body forward to open this area up. And then stand upright. Notice if this dropped, you can feel with your hands, did the lower ribs drop? Keep them lifted. And then stretch your arms down beside you. Straighten your arms. Engage the triceps muscles. Draw the navel in and up slightly to maintain the support of the lower back and the opening and lift of the back waist and back ribs. And now once more, as you inhale, lift your arms up. Now you're really going to feel this now, how lifting your arms up helps you lift your ribs up. Let your shoulders climb towards your ears and really open up the back of the legs and the back of the trunk. And then release your arms and relax your legs. The next asana is Utkatasana, fierce pose. We'll be doing this twice. I'm not going to demonstrate, but if you could turn sideways to the camera, that would be helpful. Well, actually, face the camera for a moment, and you're going to do a similar thing, starting with your hands on your stomach. You will push in a little to kind of round a little here and lengthen this area up. And then you'll stretch your arms down and lift back up, release the shoulders, and then you'll lift your arms up and really access that opening and lift in the back, and then bend the ankles, knees, and hips. We'll do it once with the feet hip width apart, and then we'll repeat if you want, you can do the classic pose with the feet and legs together. So now please turn sideways to the camera. Start with your feet hip width apart, feet and toes pointing forward. Bring your hands to your hips. Yeah. Press your feet down and straighten your legs. With your fingertips, lift the front of the pelvis up. Now slide your palms up to the abdominal area, and with your fingertips lightly press in and lean your upper body forward just a little bit. So you extra opening at the base of the back ribs and the back waist. Now maintain that and straighten your trunk upright and stretch your arms down beside you. Draw the sides of the navel into the body to maintain that length. As you inhale, lift your arms up. Urdhva Yeah, and use the lift of your arms to lift your trunk up. Lift your rib cage up. Open up the back waist in particular. Inhale again, and now as you exhale, bend your ankles, bend your knees, and bend at the hips. Maintain the length in the back. Keep the navel into the body. Yeah, Maureen, and you can lean forward slightly, Maureen, and shift your weight into your heels more. Yeah, there's a balance component to this. All right, and now press into your feet. Inhale, lift up with your arms to straighten your legs, and then release your arms and take a breath or two with your arms and legs relaxed. Okay, so repeating this, you can choose to repeat with your feet hip width apart, or if you would like to do the classic version of this asana, join your feet and legs together. Again, bring your hands to your hips. With your fingertips, lift the front of the pelvis up. And now bring your palms onto your stomach. And this time, with your hands, slide the sides of the navel towards the side waist and then lightly press inward to lengthen the back waist. You can lean forward slightly to create that length and then lift the chest up, roll the shoulders back and down, and stretch your arms down beside you. Push down into your feet, straighten your legs, lift the chest. And now as you inhale, lift your arms up. Use your arms to lift the ribs off the pelvis. Let your shoulders climb slightly towards your ears. Inhale again, and now as you exhale, bend the ankles, bend the knees, bend at the hips. Utkatasana, fierce pose. Keep the navel drawn into the body. Kara, that looks great. Use a stretch of your arms to lengthen the side of the waist and the back waist. Good. Okay, and now push down into your feet. Inhale, lift with your arms and come up, straighten your legs. And then you can step your feet apart if you'd like and relax your arms and legs, but keep the chest lifted and broadened. All righty. I want to consult my sequence. Okay.
I knew getting my knees replaced would eventually pay off.
Yay. Yeah, I am, I think, yeah, this is wood knocking on it. So far, so good. Okay, so the next asana is Arda Uttanasana. And if you have some blank wall space, that's great. You could also use like a desktop or a chair back. It does change it a little to have your palms down when you step back into it. If I would prefer, if you have a wall, to use the wall, but again, if you don't have wall space, if you're using a chair, it should be, you know, flat across, or you can have your hands, bring your palms onto, if you have a desk or a countertop or something that's about the height of your hips, that would be great. I just want to show one thing before you do this. If you're working at the wall, once you have your hands in place, glue them there. Don't let them slide down. And when you step back, it takes a while to figure out where you need to step to get your heels directly under your hips. So from here, I'm visualizing my hands at the back of my legs, spreading the calf and thigh muscles. And then as I push the wall, I'm getting this same length here. And the navel lifts a little, you push the wall, and then release your head. So there's, and some of you who are flexible in the back waist area, there is this tendency to collapse. Don't. So the sides of the navel spread apart and move in towards the ceiling, really, to keep that length in the back waist and back rib area. Now, to come out of this, you keep your hands in place, bend your knees, and walk in, whether you have your hands on a chair back, a countertop, or the wall itself. Keep your hands in place when you come out. Okay, so make a decision about what you're going to use, whether it's a wall, a piece of furniture, a chair. Stand close to it and bring your hands onto that support. If you're using a wall, about the mid-chest area is where you want your hands to be. And separate your hands the width of your chest or a little wider, not a lot wider, a little wider. Glue your hands in place. And step your feet back. Carol separate your hands a little wider, just a teensy bit. Yeah, that's it. Good. Step your feet back. And that's it. Good. Okay. Celeste, step in a little bit, just another inch, not much. Yeah, that's it. Okay. Now you push your hands either down into the support or out into the wall and push your thighs back. Remember what it felt like when you were spreading the muscles with your fingers? So open up the backs of the calves and open up the backs of the thighs. And as you push your hands away from you, push the femur bone away from into the opening in the back of the thigh and push the shin bone into the opening at the back of the calves. Those of you who tend to hyperextend, more think about pushing the base of your shin bone at your ankle back. All right, now with your legs back, focus on the trunk. So pressing the thighs and pelvis back opens the spine itself. There's a stretch there. Focus on your back rib and waist area. Lift the navel into the body and towards the side waist, and use the stretch of your arms and legs to lengthen the back of the waist and those floating ribs above the back waist area. Open them up. And Carol S., lift your navel more. You're collapsing into your lower back. Yeah, I see that problem area. Okay. Chris, you don't want to take your hands off the wall when you're standing so far away from it. All right. Now, everybody, lift your head, bend your knees, keep your hands in place, and walk into the support. And then you can bring your, once you're close to the wall or the support, you could bring your arms down beside you and lift the chest. All right. I guess I'm experiencing a little internet freezing because some of you are, your pictures are getting frozen. You know, it's like stop action animation, right? Oh, well, as long as you can hear my voice, I guess that's the important thing. All right, so from here, we're going to take Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. You can either take the classic version of the asana or from your hands and knees, or if you prefer, you could put your chair up against something steady and bring your hands onto the chair seat, whichever you would like to do. And of course, you're welcome to put, if you're on your hands and knees, you're welcome to put a blanket down to pad your knees. All right, those of you who are using the chair, bring your hand. So Celeste, it's either the chair or the floor, no blocks. Downward facing dog. So plant your palms. Donna, slide your knees and feet back away from your hands. You're already in a short dog. Plant your palms. Curl your toes under if you're on the floor, and on an exhale, lift your knees and hips up. Those of you who are using the chair, step your feet back. Yeah, good. Way back, Celeste. All right, everybody, same as you did in the previous asana. Open up the backs of your thighs and calves. And as you press your hands away from you, whether it's on a chair or the floor, move your leg bones back. Move your pelvis away from your hands. Again, slightly lift the navel into the body and draw the sides of the navel towards the side waist and open up your back, especially the back waist and the back ribs. Same idea. That's it. Yeah, and Donna, lift your navel a little more actively. That's good. Jill, bend your knees a teensy bit more. See if you can get your upper, yeah, that's fine. That looks good. Okay, and Peggy, soften that area in your, yeah, there you go, good. All right, And now once you've had enough of that, if you're doing this on the floor, bend your knees to the floor. If you're using a chair, walk into the chair with your knees bent. And don't get too excited here about resting because we're not going to rest right now. Okay. All right. So the next asana is Utkatasana. We're going to take variation 1 and variation 3. This is where you need your chair and possibly a block. And again, if you don't have a blank wall, you can use a large piece of furniture to brace the chair. And if your balance isn't what you'd like it to be, you will want a second chair or something to assist your. So I'm going to show this with my foot up onto the chair back because I know I can do this. If you have, and you people know who you are by now probably, if you can't do this without distorting the shape of your body, you can put a block on the chair seat. If you don't have an open backed chair like this, you could actually stack 2 blocks on top of each other and push them right into the back of the chair. I can't do that here. It becomes a little unstable because the chair back is open. So if you have an open chair back, 1 block is probably the best way to go. Some of you are going to be fine just bringing your heel onto the chair seat itself. So, and let's see, we'll start with the right leg lifted up. So I'm going to demonstrate, I'm going to show what this would look like with a second chair. When you face the wall, you would want the chair on your left. So why don't you get set up and then I will show you what you'll be doing. And you could do a little trial run to see what height you want under your right heel. And then once you're ready, just stand so I can show you this. And you know, if you don't have a second chair, but you have wall space, you could actually turn sideways to the wall. So you have something to balance yourself with. And if you were doing that, you would start with the right side of your body to the wall so you can use it for balance. All right. But this is the classic variation. And just watch for a minute, please. This is your break. So I think starting with the feet maybe an inch or 2 apart helps with the balance. So you stand. I'm not mirroring. This is my left leg. My right foot is up, and I can tell my hips are even. So the hip bones are equidistant from the floor. And you're going to open the backs of your legs, especially the standing leg, and lift the chest. And then if you have your balance, you lift both arms up. If you don't, you hold the chair with your left hand or the wall with your right hand and just lift one arm up or both arms. And again, you want to lift the whole rib cage up And then you're going to turn. So the chair would be on the right, the wall would be on the right, and you'll turn. Okay, so stand facing the chair that you're bringing your foot up onto and have some support beside you. It can actually, pardon me. If you can get the support onto your right side, that would be good. Have it close enough to you so you don't have to move to touch it. All right, so stand in Tadasana for a moment and straighten your legs. Push your left foot down, soften your right knee. Lift your right knee up. You could bring the foot onto the seat of the chair first, and then lift the right foot up onto the support. And Maureen, you hopped your left foot back. You were actually more upright with your foot closer to the chair. Yeah. That's just a little bit. Half an inch would make a difference. You're hanging out into that injured hamstring and not a good idea. All right, now straighten both legs. If you need to hold on to the chair beside you for support, that is fine. Push down into your right heel. Stand firmly on the left leg. With an imaginary set of hands, opening the backs of the muscles on the calf and the hamstring of both legs. Yeah, and if you want to reach down, you can do it with a lifted leg if it's close enough to you. So as those muscles on the backs of your legs open, at the top of the right thigh, press the right thigh down. At the top of the left thigh, press the left thigh back. Lift the chest up. Gaze forward. In fact, you could lift your gaze slightly up. Find something steady to look at. Draw the navel into the body and the sides of the waist towards the back. So you're opening up that back waist area again through the abdominal muscles. Now, see what it's like to lift your left arm up. You can keep your right hand onto the support. If you have your balance, lift your right arm up as well. Use one or both arms to lift your back waist and back ribs up. That's it, good. Pull the shoulders down. And now bring your arms back down. If you have support on the right, bring your right hand onto that support. Otherwise, bring your right hand back onto your sacrum behind you. Lift the chest up. And now as you exhale, begin to turn to the right. Bring your left hand around outside your right thigh. Lift the chest and turn. Maureen, if you can, you use both hands for, yeah, that's it. It looks like you're leaning towards the support. Can you move your chest back a little, Maureen? Yeah, that's it. I know you feel like you're going to fall. You're not. All righty. And now release your arms, turn back to face forward. If you need to hold the support, do that. Soften your right knee, step the right foot down. You can bring it to the seat of the chair first and then to the floor. And then you may want to turn your, if you're, put the support on the other side or lower, you want to just turn yourself around. That's right. Okay. Carol Day, you know I have a thing about having your hands like this, the runway model thing, because it rolls the shoulder forward. So Just humor me, okay? Thank you. All right, so stand facing the chair. If you need the support on your left side, that's great. With your hands on your hips, stand on your right foot, soften your left knee, and now lift the left foot up onto the support. That's it. Okay, so press down into the ridge, back ridge of the left heel and straighten the left leg. Peggy, draw your toes back towards you a little, your left foot. Yeah, there you go. Now visualize the backs of your legs, the muscles opening at the back of the calves and the back of the thighs. If you have your balance, bring both hands to your fingertips to your frontal hip bones. If you need to hold on to the support with your left hand, that's great. Stand firmly down into your right leg. Lift the chest up off of the legs. Lift your gaze up slightly. And now try lifting your right arm up. That's it. And if you have your balance, lift your other arm up or keep holding the support with your left hand. And use one or both arms to lift your rib cage up. Open especially the back waist and lift those back floating ribs off of the pelvis. And now bring your arms down. Lift the chest up. Bring your left hand back either onto the support beside you or bring your left palm onto your sacrum. And now turn to the left and bring your right hand across the body. Bring the outer right hand, bring your right palm to your outer right thigh. Sorry. Bring your right palm onto your outer left thigh. Sorry. Be firm with both legs. Inhale, lift the chest. And now as you exhale, use your hands to help you turn a little bit more to the left. You're turning towards the leg that's lifted up. And now as you exhale, release your arms, turn back to face forward, and then carefully step your left foot to the floor. Okie dokie. Where are we? All right, now we're going to take Uttanasana, a more classic version. You can choose which one you like. Some of you will want to bring your hands onto a chair seat. Everyone else, I'd like you to start with your hands on blocks, turn the tallest height. And I'm going to show this real quickly. And some of you are going to want to stay in what's called the concave back version of this, particularly if you have a lot of rounding in your upper back. It may not be safe for you to fold forward into the full version of the pose. So Peggy in particular, you want to be aware of that, and Jill as well. I'm going to demonstrate this really quickly. So feet hip width apart, toes pointing forward, hands on the hips. Now you lift your whole ribs up. You can let your shoulders come to your ears a little bit to help with that. And then you bend your elbows back and down. So the upper back is very active here. This helps you avoid rounding the upper back to some extent. And then you fold forward, keeping the upper back long. The whole rib cage is moving forward away from the legs. Then you bring your hands down onto the support. You may be here. So this is where people tend to collapse. So you want to keep your upper back muscles active. You want to, and some of you tend to collapse here. You need to keep the sides of the navel and waist moving into the body. You stretch the chest forward. You open up the backs of your legs. And then from here, you will bend your elbows out to the side and draw your top chest down. Notice that I'm pretty close to the floor. My upper back has not rounded yet. You may be able to turn the blocks down. You may be able to bring your hands to the floor. Now from here, if you have your hands on the floor and you can get your upper back really long, you can fold into the more classic version of the asana because you've extended your spine so much. But those of you who tend to have a upper rounding back, you don't really want to come down because there's it's not safe for your back. So for those of you who have that limitation, you'll just stay here in what's known as the concave upper back version. And then everybody will come back up with their hands on support and then come all the way up. Okay, so decide what you want to bring your hands onto. Stand, let's see. Okay, so separate your feet the width of your hips and have your toes about 12 to 18 inches away from the support. Make sure your feet and toes are pointing forward. Bring your hands onto your hips, fingers forward, thumbs back. Press your feet down and straighten your legs. Tighten the thigh muscles, lift the kneecaps up by pulling the thigh muscles up. With your hands on your hips, very slightly roll your elbows back. Feel the upper back muscles very active now. Lengthen the ribs away from the pelvic rim. Inhale. As you exhale, fold forward. Stretch your chest forward. Keep your feet and legs active. And now one by one, bring your hands down onto the support. Yeah, Kara, bring your buttocks towards the blocks a little bit. Your heels, yeah, that's it. I know that might feel awkward, but actually now your heels are directly under your hip joint. That's it. Celeste, move the blocks a little closer to you, about 2 inches. That's it. Now move your buttocks towards the blocks. Yeah, even more if you can. Good. All right. You may need to be on your fingertips at this point. Ellen, lift your head a little. Yeah. All right. Now keep stretching your chest away from your legs. And at the same time, open the backs of the legs and push your thigh bone in particular back. That's it. And use that backward stretch of your legs to lengthen the rib cage away from the pelvis. Ellen, straighten your legs a little more. Come up onto your fingertips. Yeah, that's it. There. Now release that upper back area. That's it. Okay. Now, those of you who can, begin to bend your elbows out to the side to draw your chest towards the floor or the blocks or the chair seat, but do not round your upper back to do this. Peggy, that looks good. That was very smart to put the blocks on the chair. Yeah, there, good. As your chest folds forward, think about maintaining that length on the back, waist, and ribs. And Maureen, you could bring your fingertips onto the floor at this point. I think you'll be okay. I know you're monitoring your hamstrings, so and those of you who have, and Maureen, you can relax your head now. Carrie, you could turn the blocks down, I'm thinking. That's it. Yeah. And Carol Day, relax your head down a little bit. You can, yeah, there. And even the weight of your head can, if it's drawing more towards the floor or even away from you, that you can, the weight, your head's like a bowling ball. It can lengthen the back waist area as well. That's it, Maureen. That looks good. All right, everybody. And now on an inhale, if you've released your head, lift your chest. Those of you who turned your blocks down, everybody turn the blocks up. That's it. Straighten your legs. Now, one by one, bring your hands to your hips. Now, if you want to soften your knees as you come up, that's fine, but come up with a long back. We've done a lot of work to lengthen the back. Take advantage of it. That's it. Okie dokie. Now, let's see, what more? One more. Okay. So the last active asana is Prasarita Padottanasana. Those of you who are in class on Monday, this is a repeat of the way we did the pose then. I'm going to turn my mat sideways so you can see. Everyone will need it. We're going to do this twice, once as an active asana and once as a resting version. So you will all need your chairs handy for the second variation. If you used the chair for Uttanasana, the previous asana, you're going to use the chair for this as well. So I know I'm okay using blocks, but I'm going to have a chair nearby, and I'm also going to put a blanket on the chair seat for padding. So get yourself, I gotta get a different set of curtains here. The sunlight has changed and it's now, well, I'll turn around. Okay. So get yourself set up, and then I'm going to show this. So the feet are a wide distance apart. Fold forward. Either bring your hands onto the blocks, or those of you who used a chair in the previous pose, use the chair in this one as well. Open the backs of the legs. Extend the trunk forward. And then walk the blocks away from you. Some of you may be able to turn the blocks down. Or if your floor isn't slippery, I can slide the blocks because I'm on a wooden floor. You may need to lift up the blocks or walk the chair. So you bring your buttocks forward a little, and then you push back. This will release your chest towards the floor, but also lengthen that waist area. And then you bring the blocks back, get the chair, and rest. And to come up, bring your palms onto the chair, heel toe your feet a little closer together, and then come up the same way you did from Uttanasana with a long back. Okay, so stand with your blocks or chair near you, lined up with the long edge of your mat. Even if you're using blocks, have your chair handy. Bring your hands to your hips. You're facing the long end of your mat. So with your hands on your hips, soften your knees, step your feet a wide distance apart, at least 3 feet apart. That's it. Look at your feet. Make sure your feet and toes are pointing forward. If you have any doubt about that, turn your toes in slightly and the heels out a little bit. Now straighten your legs. With your hands on your hips, very slightly roll the elbows back. So you work those upper back muscles again. Press down into your feet, straighten your legs. As you inhale, lift your rib cage up off the pelvis. And then as you exhale, fold forward at the hips, bringing your chest forward and downward. Bring your hands one by one, either onto the blocks or the chair seat. Straighten your legs. Extend your chest away from your thighs. And now either walk or slide the chair or the blocks away from you. Yeah, and bring your buttocks along for the ride a little bit. So yeah, that's it. And then keep your hands in place and push your thighs and buttocks back. This will, yeah, move them. See if you can get your buttocks a little behind the line of your heels. And then those of you who can, you may want to turn the blocks down or walk them further away from you. Yeah, and then again, push the thighs back. That looks great, Celeste. That's it. So this, by walking the hands out and then pushing the thighs back, your trunk moves a little closer to the floor. Maintain the length on the spine. That's it. This is an active asana. Open the muscles at the back of the calves and the thighs. Push your weight back into your legs. And then see if you can align your ears between your upper arms. So you release the head enough. Don't round the upper back. Yeah, Ellen, bring your weight forward a little bit and come up a little higher. Yeah, that's it. Now your back looks a little safer. All right, everybody. If you've turned the blocks down or brought your hands onto the floor, turn the blocks back up to their tallest height. Everybody lift the head and chest. Extend your head forward. And now from here, heel toe your feet closer together. Then bring your hands to your hips and come up with a long back. All right, for once I timed this pretty well. Okay, so we're gonna lie down and get ready for some, oh, I forgot the resting version. Darn, forget it. Sorry, we don't have time. You can rest on the floor. Maureen, that's fine. When you lie down though, I would like you to draw your knees to your chest and let your back release a bit. And if you know you cool down when you're on the floor, have a blanket handy to cover yourself. And you are, of course, welcome to put a blanket under your head and neck. But once you're on the floor, just take a moment to draw your knees to your chest. You can wrap your hands around the front of the shins or the back of the thighs. You could rock a little from side to side. You could also separate your knees out and gently draw your knees towards your side ribs. This is a slightly different lengthening on the back. Yeah, and Carol Day, that looks good. Yeah, so whatever sort of floats your boat here in terms of releasing your back, given all the work that we did, and kind of softening that area at the back, waist, and letting the back floating ribs soften into the floor. And then when you've had enough of that, release your legs and stretch them out. You are, of course, welcome to put some support under your back thighs, if you like a bolster or a rolled blanket, or even a block under the back of each thigh. And of course, cover yourself if you get cold. And then once you're in a relatively comfortable position, adjust your arms, rolling the inner elbows and palms to face the ceiling, and positioning the upper arms a bit away from the side body. If you're more comfortable resting your palms on the trunk somewhere, that's fine too, just as long as your upper arms and outer shoulders are supported into the floor. Let the neck soften, the weight of the head to release into the support beneath it. Let the buttock muscles relax, the inner borders of your thighs, calves, and feet to gently roll away from each other. Having made your best effort in the active asana practice, now let that effort go. Surrender your body into the floor and into the gentle tug of gravity. With the eyes closed, relax all the facial features. Let go of any tension that may have accumulated in the facial area during the practice. Soften especially the space between the eyebrows and the hinge of the jaw. Surrender yourself now to the flow of the breath. Allow the breath to move easily, freely, in and out of the body. Again, sense the rhythm of the breath. Sense the presence of the breath. Sense the softness of the breath as it flows in and out of the body. When the mind wanders, and it will, bring it back to the touch, to the softness of the breath. To prepare now to come out of this asana, begin by taking a couple of slightly deeper breaths. At the end of your next exhalation, slowly open your eyes. Gently and slowly, one by one, bend your knees. Bring your feet to the floor. If your legs have been supported, gently move the support away from you. Fold your arms into your body if they're not already there. And with your knees bent, roll onto your side. And then as you're ready, turn towards the floor and use your hands and arms to help you sit up. Please come to sit in any comfortable seated position. If you have a blanket or something handy to sit on, that's a good thing. Rest your hands on the floor beside you or on your thighs. And once more, as you inhale, lift the ribs up off of the pelvis. As you exhale, release the shoulders back and down, maintaining the height, the length of the spine itself. Join your palms now at the center of your chest. Let's take another quiet breath here. Namaste. Thank you so much. Good job.